Welcome to the show, ladies and gents. We're here. We talk about wrestling.
Charlotte beat me. I put you in a neck brace before. I have no problem doing it again.
You haven't seen it, honey?
Oh, bitch! No, the fuck So much balls. There's too much balls on that ref. Too many red balls. Look at all these balls. Look at this. Damn! Oh, Jesus! We are witnessing child abuse on TV, Lord. Oh, have mercy. Now, watch your mouth when you talking to me, ho. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. You ain't getting nothing. You don't get nothing. You either earn it or you don't. You pasty bitch. That ain't how this works. Uh-oh, hit it with a zigzag. Let's go, baby. Let's go, dog. Let's go. I'm fucks with it. We sick of your shit.
Hey, girl, hey. Life, relationships, pop culture.
Well, go ahead. I'm listening. And he'll be looking at me. He will be looking at me and he will go to sleep. He will go to sleep. Look at me in my face. I'm talking to you.
We talk about it all, baby. So, y'all ready? I know y'all ready. Because it's showtime. And that's on the ancestors, baby. Well,
Oh, that did not pick up in the camera. I really do.
well, y'all, Monday Night Raw was a slow day. If you didn't watch it, it essentially was just a recap of everything that happened for the year. Everybody that returned, everybody that had a big moment, they picked theirs. It was a fairly decent list, I'm not going to lie. Now, WWE on Fox had awards that the fans picked. And I'm going to show y'all the awards. I was going to collect them and have them downloaded, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like doing that. When does that start? Next year? The Last of Us? 15. Yeah. So basically, I'm just going to show y'all the winners of the awards for WWE on Fox. Because I don't want to collect all that shit and then turn around and like upload it and it's not going to upload right. I don't care. They talked to Liv Morgan today. They talked to Drew McIntyre today. They talked to a bunch of people, which I thought was pretty cool. All right, I got it. Ryan Satin wrote this article, so I guess shout out to him. Ryan Satin seemed to be all right for now. He hasn't been problematic. I think I'm going to do a Messy Awards Friday after SmackDown. I'm going to do a Messy Awards. See who should get the Messy Award for the year. I'm going to come up with categories and everything. Always think of stuff on the fly. All right. So WWE on Fox has their Fans' Choice Awards and the winners. Okay. Ryan Satin and the crew have been posting this on WWE on Fox Instagram pretty much all week. So here we go. Obviously, the male superstar of the year was given to Roman Reigns. He's been champion for over 2 years. He's a leader of the bloodline. So obviously, he would be the guy that they would choose as numero uno, as he is numero uno. Okay. So I'm not surprised by that. In my opinion, Seth was a very close second. Okay. They very well could have chosen Seth over Roman just by his feuds alone, but I understand why Roman was chosen. The fans picked him. Okay, cool. Not gonna be mad at it about that. Female superstar of the year is Bianca Belair. And again, I am not surprised by this. Bianca had a banger of a year. There was a few hiccups in her year, but she took it in stride and kept rolling. Again, a very close second to her will be Becky. Her return prior to this, but her dominance of the women's division in her return for the year that she came back and moving into this year, she was at the top of the mountain for a very big, significant piece of the year up until Mania when Becky was taken down. But Bianca has been on a roll since the year started, and she hasn't stopped since. So Bianca is your female superstar of the year per the fans. Okay. So everybody that came in, hello. You got LB, hello. Donnie's here. Kayla, Aaliyah, and AJC3. Hello, happy holidays to you as well. All right. So let's move on to the next category. Tag team of the year went to the Usos. I mean, they've been champion for almost 500 plus days. Um, Obviously, they were going to be the tag team of the year. Oh, they gave workhorse of the year to Seth Rollins. That is not bad. That's actually really cool. So Seth got workhorse of the year. Um, all you had to do, it says all you had to do was look at the matches Rollins has had this year to know he is obvious choice. His year began at Royal Rumble in a winning effort against Roman Reigns. I've been telling people he's the only person who beat him. Nobody's believing me. Then he moved into a storyline with Cody Rhodes that saw him compete in three more critically acclaimed matches. There was also a fight pit match, which to me was the worst of his matches. The fight pit was the worst of his matches. And his recent battles for the U.S. Championship. Plus, that's not the only award he won this year. Most stylish superstar. Yes, yes, Seth Rollins definitely had the drip. There were few superstars, if any, that could fuck with Seth Rollins' style on that one. Y'all had to give King Troy that award. Now, they do say that Seth is very hands on with his style. He does confer with King Troy about what he likes, what he doesn't like, what he's willing to try, and how far he wants to go. So he is a part of that, but Troy is the mastermind behind Seth Rollins' style, and you can't say that he doesn't have it. Look at this. Look at the material. Look at this. Material girl. This is fucking dope, okay? And that's animal print in pink and like silver, I think, or like white. It it's just legitimately fire. Like there's nothing else to say other than it's legitimately fire. Um Out of character guest of the year goes to Liv Morgan. So Ryan Satin has has a show called Out of Character, and he thinks everyone was his best, but he really liked talking to Liv Morgan. So she was the guest of the year. I don't watch Out of Character, but I did see some clips from Seth, Becky, Kevin, and Sammy's Out of Character, and I saw a clip from Randy's as well and Cody Rhodes. So it was cool. Best social media presence went to Sami Zayn. Um, I'm okay with that one. Sammy's been Sammy's been on social media acting a fool for a while. So I'm glad he's finally being recognized for his mess because he is an absolute fool on social media. Like I earlier Doja Cat was typed ussy on her Instagram and Sammy corrected her and said it's pronounced Usi. Said, sir, she was not talking about that. Sammy is a menace, but I love Sami Zayn on social media. He's absolutely hilarious. It said King Troy better get that trophy, child. All right, so let's move on. Match of the year goes to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I emphatically disagree. I disagree emphatically. I don't think that Cody and Seth didn't have a banger of a match, but their match was not better than Sheamus and Gunther's match, nor was it better than Drew and Roman's match. I'm sorry. I love Cody. I love Seth. They are amazing competitors, but their matches were not better than those matches. I'm sorry. It just wasn't. So I 100% disagree with that. Hands down. It just wasn't. So I guess that was it. Wow, that's messy, honey. That is weird. I thought it was more than that. For them to be in awards, them some tiny awards, honey. Anyways, that was the awards. It was weird. It just seemed like it was like five awards there. Now, my favorite moments of the year. Um, in regards to matches, let's say I can do my top five favorite matches of the year. It'll start with Becky and Bianca at WrestleMania. I really like that match. Um, it got stretched out to SummerSlam, which that match was okay, but Becky and Bianca at WrestleMania to me was an intense battle. Right, Aaliyah? Like it's not a lot going on that list. You like, girl, okay, honey. Like live your best life, babes. I was like, okay. Anyways, so I like Becky and Bianca's feud. Like they really, really fought. Ultimately ended up respecting each other in the end, which you gotta respect that. Um oh fuck. Where else can I go? So it was Becky and Bianca. Um I was happy with Liv's cash in. I thought it was smart. So I can give her that. I'm not going to shit on Liv too much. Her cash in was smart. It was definitely the right move for her so she can have her moment in the sun. And she had the title longer than I thought she would keep the title. So good for her. But it's not a top moment. That's like an honorable mention for me. Um, so if I had to pick another top moment, it would have to be Cody's return at WrestleMania. That was definitely a big one. Even though I knew it was going to happen, it was the reaction of everybody in the arena when he showed up, how it exploded and how it was on every sports blog, sports massive sports network, like anything they could think of, they oh my gosh. How you gonna have a football player teach somebody how to cook? Mm-hmm. What the hell? A football player I mean, baseball or somebody. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know shit. Anyway. Hello, Brazy. Hello. Well, Tiff, you don't have to be sorry because it's true. Okay. I've seen it in better conservative high schools yearbook superlatives. I mean, I don't understand what that was about, but it was relatively short. Like they didn't have like anything else like best return or anything. So I'm gonna go to their page and see, but it seemed like those were the only awards that they gave out. I'm really shocked by that. Like I'm superlatively not shocked by that. Anyway, it looked like they still handing out awards. It's weird. But anyways, I guess you could say my favorite moments of the year, Cody's return. Um it was definitely Roman and Brock and that fucking um that bulldozer he had lifting up that ring during what was it, SummerSlam? Did that happen? I think that was SummerSlam. I don't know. SummerSlam, that match was fucking crazy. That I don't care for Brock Lesnar and in that regard, but I will say that Cowboy Brock was more of an entertaining character than any iteration of Brock Lesnar sans his first run in WWE. That was fun. Like, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch Roman finally be knocked off kilter. It was fun to see him be a little jittery. You know what I'm saying? That was fun. So I love that match. And I rarely say that about a Brock Lesnar match ever. But that match was fun. It was so fucking chaotic. From like from Roman being out there to the Usos coming out there, that ring lifting up, Austin Theory trying to cash in. Like, it was just fucking madness. And I thoroughly enjoyed it 100%. It was so bizarre, but at the same time, it was so much fun. It just was fun. So that's one of my favorite moments. I also loved I liked when the initial process of Damage Control coming together looked like it had potential, but as they began to continue to move forward as a group, they never really found their identity. Can you give me some tissue, please? So while I like Damage Control, as on paper it seemed okay, executed, I didn't think that it worked. You have three various personalities, and Bailey comes across as like a dork who's a bully. It doesn't work in my opinion. Io still trying to keep some of her own identity while being in the group, and that's clashing. And it seems like Dakota is just all over the place. It's just a lot going on, and I think that even though their return to the E was great, I'm gonna have to say that they probably were they're my biggest disappointment in my opinion, and it's not any reflection on any of them personally, but it just wasn't. It wasn't an idea that was executed effectively. Hold tight. I have to blow my nose.
Damn right we take turns being wrong. I get real accountable when I'm alone. I get real about it all when I'm alone. It's so crazy missing you, back it on. don't make me poop you. And I might hit your phone up with that rock, missing my da, missing that all of this love is toxic.
Right. To wrap up Damage Control's return, I mean their ascension in WWE, um, it just wasn't effective in my opinion, and I feel like I feel like Bailey and the girls and Dakota and Io was much better as separate superstars, and it just would be an easier way to divvy up like what's going on, create bigger feuds, and just really have a good time. Um, I'm curious as to how they're going to do this when it comes to Damage Control, but to me, they were probably my biggest flop of the year. I just wasn't feeling it. Them and Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans was definitely if I had to like pick over Damage Control, she was my biggest flop of the year. Her return was bizarre as hell. At first you're like, okay, I'm giving you guys the game. This is what happened. I've been able to pull through this. I could, pull myself up through the muck. All it takes is work ethic, on some John Cena type shit. But her delivery was cold and deadpan at first. And you seem to, at first, you were emotional enough to understand and respect it, right? But then it was constantly coming back out. It was like every single day, you're putting this out there every single day, every single week. This is the same conversation we're having about you. And it's like, okay, well, when are you gonna when are you gonna perform? Like when are you going to stop preaching and then get out there and show and prove? Then Vince had the genius idea to turn you heel. All right, girl. No, Layla says, I love Seth and Cody's American match, but Sheamus versus Gunther was better. And side note, Cody was my first WWE crush before Ambrose, so Cody is slowly growing back on me. Okay. Um, like most memeable moment, that could have been a great category. It could have been. Thank you. So, yeah, those are my two biggest flops. If I had to do an honorable mention for that, Judgment Day was a flop for me. I feel like Judgment Day could have been better. Right now, they're kind of that happy medium in between, where they're like, they're that happy medium in between where they're like watchable, but then you're like, I hate these motherfuckers. Hello, young boy Jay. They're watchable, but you hate them, which is fair. I mean, they're doing their job, so I'm not mad at that. Don being in the group is still cringeworthy to me. I mean, that was a big moment with him turning on his father and on Edge at Clash of the Castle. A lot of people thought that it was going to get Don versus Ray. They did not. Ray ran to the next brand. Sucker. So, I was like, shit. we we were robbed, most definitely. Um, so I'd say Judgment Day was a big flop this year too. They didn't start really picking up until I would say after Extreme Rules is when they started to change. When Rhea Ripley started to be at the forefront of the group, that's where everybody really started to come on board. With Finn at the front, at the helm, he just is not. He doesn't fit that mold of this, and he's really working hard at trying to portray himself as this gang member, and it's not fucking working for me. It doesn't land. It seems very odd and out of place, and I respect the dedication, but it's just so bizarre to me that this man thinks that in order for you to be hard, you have to wear a bandana on your head. I was like, where did you get that from? Do not watch New Jack City. Do not watch these old gang movies and then think you can mimic what you see because you're just gonna get blasted. I'm definitely gonna blast you, bro. Because that ain't exactly how gang culture works. I'm like, you could have kind of patterned yourself after a motorcycle gang. That's more the palm colored people's thing. Is the motorcycle gang, you know? You could have did what Undertaker did. You know, Undertaker basically took his bandana and put it around his head, which is a typical motorcycle type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Finn had his with the triangle down at yo. When I don't know no other way to explain it other than
come on, it's no what the, oh.
It's some weird shit going on. But like I said, they didn't start to pick up with Judgment Day until after Extreme Rules. When Extreme Rules hit, they had the match with Beth. I mean, they had the match with Edge, and then his wife got involved, and she got taken out. That was when really the turning point for Judgment Day, and when it really became like the entity that people were really focusing on and paying attention to. Before that, it was a lot of fodder and bullshit. They started to focus on the OC, and then they brought back Mia Yim, and that was kind of fun to watch. They stretched it out just a little too thin, but for the most part, that was cool. So, what else? Another moment of mine that I really liked and enjoyed from this year was Sami Zayn's ascension to the top of the mountain and pseudo atop of the mountain. Like Sami really has finally gotten the attention that he deserves. And Sami has been working hard to keep himself relevant and to do things that were interesting. Like when he had his conspiracy theory type of thing going, it was funny and it was interesting. That led to a match between him and Logan and Kevin Owens, right? And then Logan Paul was a part of that match. That was like Logan's first foray into the E, I guess you could say. This, spread out until he decided, he wanted to be a part of something, and he ended up joining the bloodline and became an integral member of the bloodline. This led to this big moment that happened at War Games. I'm proud of Sami. I'm happy for Sami. So for me, Sami is one of the big entities of the year because Sami Zayn was able to turn something that shouldn't have gone on as long as it did into a big, massive play for himself and turn that into a merchandise and actually get it over. Shout out to Sami for that because he deserved that. He's been one of the people that I've always said could be WWE champion or Universal champion at some point, and it would be fun to see what he would do as a champion. Again, if I had to double back and pick top 5 matches, like I said, I would start off with Bianca and Becky's match. Honestly, between SummerSlam and WrestleMania, both of those matches could be interchangeable. They were very, very good both ways. Each match had an ending that I wanted and expected. So I love both of them. Um, like I said, Roman's match with Drew at Clash of the Castle. Roman's match with Brock Lesnar was another favorite at SummerSlam. And I loved Cody and Seth's Hell in a Cell match, but it wasn't better than those two. Um, I surprisingly enjoyed Liv Morgan's match with Shayna Baszler. I thought that was a fairly solid match with her. I didn't expect her to pull out that kind of performance, and she did, which leads me to believe that Shayna Baszler is one of the most solid wrestlers in the E, because there's no way that Liv Morgan would have been able to perform like that without it being against Shayna Baszler. That's just my personal opinion. And then my last favorite match of the year, um, y'all gonna be like, what? It's gonna have to be Mandy Rose versus Roxanne Perez, because I'm sorry, but that shit was delicious. The fact that she lost, the way she looked when she lost, it wasn't the match itself. It was just the fact that Mandy finally dropped the fucking title. I was ecstatic, over the fucking moon. Okay, I was happy. I didn't want anybody else to ruin that moment for me, and I finally got it captured on film, and it is on the internet forever. So she lost. Amazing. Um, so those are my favorite matches of the year. There are plenty others that are great. Axiom's matches with Nathan Frazier, amazing. Carmelo Hayes with Wesley, amazing. That match in NXT for the championship, the big championship, the in North American championship match, fire. That ladder match, absolute fire. The men's Iron Survivor Challenge, that match was fucking perfect. It was so good. It was so quick. It went by fast. You didn't think that 25 minutes was going by that fast. They did better than the women. The women's match was very slow. It was like Zoe and the girls forgot there was a time limit and they needed to do quick things to keep everybody invested. They didn't really start to come into this and understand what was going on until the end. And again, they didn't utilize that box like the men did. So that men's Iron Survivor Challenge match, fire. Love that match. To this day, it's still one of my favorites, but I still think the other matches that I mentioned were amazing matches. And because it happened later at the end of the year, like at my forefront was thinking the whole year as a whole, and I just didn't include it. But AJ, my better half, he think my right side of the brain. The right side. So sometimes he come in a little late. I appreciate it. Anyway, um, let's move into the best moments, or like just moments of the year that would just make you go, whoa. Okay. Obviously, number one would be Vince McMahon retiring. Okay. Vince McMahon retiring was something I would never see in my in all my years of watching wrestling. I never would have thought the day would come that man would actually leave his post at WWE and be like, you know what? It's time for me to go on home, Playboy. Like, I never thought that, but I guess all of the accusations and of course the board urging it was just like, okay, you got to retire. We can't afford to keep you going. Like, if you stay here, he said, I'm back. Okay, babes. If we keep you here, our company could go under, and I'm sure Vince McMahon doesn't want his baby to die down, sir. They cut him loose and they put Uncle Trip in his place. And there has been the resurgence of WWE, and the wrestling renaissance has been in full effect ever since. Okay. Now, another big moment, of course, would be Triple H officially retiring from in-ring competition. I kind of cried a little bit because Triple H, a lot of people hated Triple H back in the day, but as an adult and I go back and watch it, like Triple H's feuds and his shit on TV was fairly solid. Like there was few times where Triple H was tripped up or fumbled anything. Like everything he did had a purpose. There was a purpose. There was a beginning, a middle, and an end to him. Even in his days of running with Evolution, like Triple H really solidified his career in certain aspects, and I really hate the fact that he now can't wrestle anymore. But I enjoyed him as a superstar, and I'm even happier that he's transitioned into the back and he is able to continue to move forward and create superstars that understand how this should work, and superstars that are willing to put in the work to get to where he was and to advance beyond him. So he's he's the leader of the next generation, and I'm curious as to how this is going to play out for the next couple of years. But you know, I was a little sad by that. So that made me shed a little tear. Hold on a second. Let me get some of y'all comments in here because I didn't. Speaking of Judgment Day, will you talk about Dom getting arrested during the show? Eventually. Party's here. Hello, Kenny. Don said I'm back. Okay. Hello. How you doing? How you doing? As it should be. He cried a little bit when Trip retired. Yeah. Trip was the girl. Trish who? She wishes. I can't. I wish he shortened these matches up. That I'll get into Triple H's run as the guy in a second. And these are the things I want to happen next year into WWE. We'll get to that. I want to finish this out. So the next big moment of the year, obviously, was Cody Rhodes wrestling at Hell in a Cell with that completely torn pectoral muscle. That shit took me out. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I was absolutely floored by that. He said the funniest shit to me is how he finishes his words. He'd be like, Tiffany. Triple H do talk like that. He did. That's facts. I'm not even gonna lie. He said, like, are you tired? All right, so him with that torn pectoral muscle was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. That shit was fucking gnarly. Okay, gnarly. He fixed it since the cartoon checked him. WWE's original content for the WWE network was actually pretty good. I'm gonna get to that in a second too. But let's move into some more moments from the year that I really enjoyed. I liked Cody and Seth's Hell in a Cell match. I said that before. Like Charlotte had a couple moments, but her biggest moment was her nip slip at WrestleMania. Everybody saw them titties, baby. We all saw them titties.
The internet had a goddamn.
We saw them titties, baby, but they wasn't bad.
Talk about some her left titties all elite, all kind of shit.
Oh, right, and they had the audacity to put the titty on the All Elite poster. Mm-hmm. Like that shit was fucking gnarly. Like y'all are out of your minds. But I be watching shit back like, oh my god, damn. Promo star of the year has to be Charlotte or Seth. I mean, I feel like Charlotte is always solid on promos. There's very few people who could mess with her on that front. Like Charlotte can get you. You're gonna be stumbling if you fucking with her. You got to be on your P's and Q's. But I'm gonna get it to Seth, seeing as how Seth's been here the whole year. And Charlotte's been living her best married life, which I don't fucking blame her. But Seth's been here the whole year, and he has been pulling out banger promos every single week. So that, to me, would have to go to Seth Rollins because he just... overall, Seth Rollins has just been complete. Look wise. Look wise. The way he spoke, how he carried himself, his matches, everything has been A1. There have been few people who fuck with Seth Rollins on his level. He just was complete. He just was complete. Don said Becky is top tier. I agree. But I'm still edging Seth out over Charlotte because Seth tore Riddle's ass a new one. He said, "You want to talk about my family? Let's talk about your family." Like, how about your family? Oh, that's right. You don't fuck with your bitch ass no more. I was like, what? Sir. He went off.
I said, gonna talk about family. Okay, let's talk about yours. Oh yeah, that's why you got one because his wife divorced your ass. He's like, he's sucking your kids don't want to bring her around your bitch ass no more.
I said, God damn. You didn't have to hurt that man like
said,
that.
You hurt me, bitch.
Right. He went in. Okay. So I'm giving it to Rollins on the promo front. I have to. So other than that, I don't think I have anything else. Because I feel like if I pick anything else, it's just gonna keep overlapping, you know. I already picked the worst comebacks of the year, which was Lacey Evans to me, and I picked my worst faction of the year, which was between Judgment Day and Damage Control for me. If I had to pick the best comeback, I did pick Cody for number one. Bray Wyatt is very much up there because Bray Wyatt's return was fucking epic. It was so big. It was so surreal. I was like, sheesh. So, another return that I was very shocked about was I didn't expect Tegan Knox to come back, but everybody said she was coming back. Emma was a surprise for me. I kind of figured once I started seeing who was coming back that I remember. Let me see if I still got that Thanos picture. Once I saw Karrion come back, which that was a fucking shock for me. Once I saw Karrion come back, I absolutely knew that Johnny Wrestling was coming back, Candice was coming back, and once you saw Dakota and EO show up, like it was gonna be a whole influx of Triple H's indie darlings coming back, and they're still coming back. Mia's back now. They say that rumor has it that Okada from New Japan is supposed to be showing up in the Rumble this year. Triple H is trying to make the Royal Rumble a 40-man Royal Rumble this year so he can have some more surprises show up in the Rumble. Next year. Sorry.
Which is next week.
Yeah, next year is going to be within a few days. But anyway, it's going to be a very interesting year. Now this, like I said, this year, when after Clash of the Castle, everything beyond this point is all trip. Okay. So this next year, starting out in January, within a couple of days, we'll see how Triple H is going to book the WWE. If you don't know how he does it, he's very hands-on about having shit set in motion 2 and 3 months ahead. So right now, if we're talking about Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and Mania, all that shit is getting ready to be set in stone. So Royal Rumble winner is already picked. Elimination Chamber is already picked. And then you're going to be moving into Mania, and Mania's winners should be set with their matches getting ready to be set, right? So after that, what was the picture that the rumor for the I think I deleted it. Dang it. Oh no, it is. Here it is. So the rumor for the PLE lineup this year is really, really small. They've knocked it down to 9 pay-per-views. sans including the 2 pay-per-views that they do for Saudi. So Crown Jewel and what did they call the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. I thought it was like, okay. I don't mind. Wake up for you. Now they already said that Elimination Chamber is gonna be in it's gonna be in Canada, I believe. So they're not gonna have EC over in Saudi, so they're gonna have to have another pay-per-view because they just have Crown Jewel that I know for sure. Everything else kind of wavers, like Greatest Royal Rumble, Super Showdown, Super Showdown, and then the Elimination Chamber last year. Well, this year they had Elimination Chamber over there, so it's gonna be an interesting day. Anyways, the pay-per-views are spread out in between. So what we have here is there's 9 pay-per-views for sure that they're gonna have, and 2 pay-per-views over in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh. That's how you say it, because I was calling it Riyadh. And in Riyadh, that's where they usually have it at. At least that's where the consensus of them having it. They had it in Jeddah the first time. They ended up having they go back and forth. Okay. That's different. Unique. Now the year prior to that, they had one pay-per-view in 2020. Oh, that was because of the pandemic. They only went over there once. They didn't go back for the rest of the year because the pandemic hit real hard, and they didn't go back in 2000. They went once in 2021, sorry, and then they did a double show in 2022. Okay, so anyways, yeah. So you have these are the pay-per-views that are rumored to be the premium live events for next year. The first one's gonna be Royal Rumble, then it's gonna be EC, then WrestleMania. Then you're gonna have King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, the UK pay-per-view, which I'm hoping they keep Clash at the Castle because I like Clash at the Castle. They are rumoring to have Evolution, and then Survivor Series War Games is a permanent mainstay with them. So cool for them. It's gonna be interesting time. Yes, he did. It was a requirement. Did you do show of the year? No, I did not. I picked NXT. I'm gonna say no. My show of the year, it has to be Raw. And I love SmackDown. SmackDown is always gonna be my numero uno, my guy, my love. I love SmackDown. But Raw had a better rollout as time progressed. Raw was not so reliant on one person, and Raw had more time to create their people and create their stars. Roman is the reliance on SmackDown, and I think that's the biggest downfall of it, is because he is the numero uno guy and he's hoarding the titles. I don't like it, and I feel like it needs to be like at WrestleMania needs to be the last time he's holding both of those championships. They need to do something because it is just stalling the men's division completely. It's stagnant. There's nothing that anybody can do when it comes to that. He's the champion and he's not wavering on that. You know what I'm saying? But it makes it difficult for competition to build up when you're constantly making him look like he's an unstoppable beast. The same thing that was happening with Brock is the same thing that's happening with Roman. It shouldn't have been done. I understand it's historic, it's great, but giving him both titles was a mistake in my opinion. He still could have been the dominant one on his show. And then towards the end of his reign, you know what I'm saying? You could have gave him both titles for a small amount of time and then have him drop one. You feel me? But for him to have both titles for at least a year, that shit was fucking gnarly to me. I heard sprinkles of Jay White too, but that's just hearsay. I cry. I hate Jay White. And she loves him. But in fairness, I haven't seen Jay White like in full action, so um I'm going to leave it at that. I'm still annoyed by those hammer pants that Karrion wore on the last SmackDown. I didn't see him with no hammer pants on. Did you see him with hammer pants on? I didn't see that. Trying to bring back Chelsea. Chelsea's y'all girl. I could care less if Chelsea comes back. If she comes back, good for her. The way I see it, from what I understand, she is coming back. I mean, kudos to Chelsea if she is. In my opinion, I don't really care for Chelsea. Everybody else says that she's done the due diligence and become great. And I'm like, that's good for Chelsea. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched any of her matches, nor have I seen her in character. So for me, I need to see it in order to justify it. But I'm not shitting on her personally. I know she's grown a lot. I know that she's had an amazing run on the indies, which kudos to her. But she's never been one of my favorite people. So I'll give her respect where respect is due. Sis did her due diligence and she's fine. But I don't care about Chelsea. So if she comes back, good for her. It's rumored that Triple H has already planned has WrestleMania plan already locked. I I just said that. If you I just said that. And I was alluding to the fact that the UK PLE, I'm hoping that they keep it at Clash at the Castle. Sometimes they change things, so I'm not sure if they're going to keep Clash at the Castle. Clash at the Castle. That's not always the case. Plus, if I recall, that was a Vince McMahon PLE, so there may be a change to that. So that's why I said, while Clash at the Castle was the UK PLE, they may change that, and I'm hoping that they would keep it at Clash at the Castle. Now, if you're asking like your favorite PLE of the year was Clash at the Castle, I agree. Clash at the Castle was one of my favorites. I'm gonna have to say Clash at the Castle, Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania, and Survivor Series War Games were my favorites. Those were my four favorites, with Clash at the Castle edging out as number one. Oh, and Deadline. I actually like Deadline. A lot of people didn't like Deadline, but I did. I thought Deadline was fairly solid. I thought it was fun. It was better than the other pay-per-views that NXT put on. Like, it just was a solid pay-per-view. And Mandy didn't wrestle at Deadline, so that made it even better. I liked it. I liked it. Had Solo not shown up, Drew would have had that belt. Y'all already know how I feel about that. I was very, very distraught by that. Let's see. Female debut of the year. Let's trickle on down to NXT. Have to say for sure, Roxanne had a banger of a year. To show up, become a part of the next thing. Well, Roxanne showed up. Roxanne showed up. She came in. She got her contract, cashing in, tag team champion. Later on down the line, one deadline, beat her ex best friend, became the women's champion. Roxanne had a banger of a year. But when I was on We Love Wrestling, shout out to them because Terry had the Midwest Melanin Mafia over there. So respect to everybody. We had Culture Podcast and Know the Ropes. That's the homies right there. Appreciate them. Anyway, We Love Wrestling had all of us over there and was talking about it. And my thing was, while Roxanne had a banger of a year, I don't shit on Roxanne. I still say, and I know this sounds weird because Carmelo debuted last year in June, but Carmelo's year as North American champion was completely unmatched. Like there was few people in the company besides Roman who was able to dominate the way that he did as champion. And I'm just like, Carmelo stands out the most to me in NXT. Character wise, I absolutely detested him, but he was doing his job as a heel, and I can respect that. But to me, Carmelo Hayes is your standout breakout star of the year. He had it with the contract. He earned it. He got the championship. Cool. From then, he took it and ran with it. He developed his persona. He moved forward. Trick Williams was his liaison. But Melo had the best year in NXT, period. Match-wise, solid. Character-wise, he was solid. There were few people who could fuck with Carmelo on that level. A lot of people want to give it to Mandy, but the reality is Mandy's match quality was subpar at best. Her promos were ass. You just hated Mandy. And that's fine. She did her job. She was supposed to be the sex appeal, unbeatable champion. She did that. But at the same time, Mandy's promos were ass. Her matches were half-assed. Depending on who she went up against, the quality of her matches would go down. She was not a solid champion like Carmelo Hayes was. She just wasn't. And which is why I say Carmelo's championship reign was 10 times better than Mandy's. Even though Mandy had a year-long championship reign, she was at the top of the mountain, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, Carmelo was a better champion because the belt was elevated because of him. The belt didn't elevate him. He elevated the belt. There's a difference. So shout out to Carmelo because he did absolutely amazing in NXT this year. And you have to give Roxanne her props as well. I'm not the biggest fan of Roxanne's matches. I feel like a lot of times her matches are a little bit slow for me and they're a little telegraphy. Like I can kind of see where they're going sometimes. And that is not always their fault per se, but I like a match that's a little bit more fluid. You know, most improved of the year when it comes to NXT, I can give that to a couple of people. I think that most improved should go to and I don't like Tiffany Stratton, but Tiffany Stratton improved her match quality tremendously. Her match quality was solid when it came to towards her ending when she and Wendy fought. That match they had was very good. I liked the match between Wendy and Tiffany Stratton. I thought it was very, very good. Who else? So Ruka had a little bit of a wobbly start when she got there, but as time progressed, she really also came into her own, and I can respect that. Like I really, really like So Ruka, and So Ruka is she's just dope. Let me see what y'all said in the comments. Roxanne, so Ruka is a close second because that Surf's Up bitch can move. Yeah. Damn, I forgot about Mello. That man's a king. Man is like fourth on the list on NXT. I have to agree. The remainder of Toxic Attraction did a better job. If I'm being honest, of all the champions, I will say that while Braun Breaker's feuds were less than appealing most of the time, unless he was going up against people who were worth watching, which I hate to say it, but JD McDonough is interesting. As creepy as he is, he's interesting. Um, a lot of the times you were more interested in his opponents than you were in Braun Breaker. Which is why a lot of times Braun Breaker is a forgotten element in terms of the champions. I'd put Braun Breaker underneath Mandy Rose, and I hate to say that, but because his shit just wasn't interesting. The people he was going up against were okay, but he just wasn't interested. That tag team division was hopping. And you can say what you want to about Pretty Deadly, but they're fun to watch. I like Pretty Deadly. I think they're funny. I think they're campy. And in the ring, there are when they're not cheating and they're actually being solid, right? Pretty Deadly are fucking dangerous. They're dope. All right. Now, the tag team division, when they had Gallus there, Briggs and Jensen, Pretty Deadly, they had the Creed brothers at the top of the mountain. That shit was fucking dope. Them dudes were battling for them belts. Okay. This was not a game. Niggas was getting attacked every single week. And I loved it. That tag team division, superior to the Raw and SmackDown tag team division any day of the week. And I will argue you down to the ground. And do you know why? Because there was actual competition. This was not a situation of the Pretty Deadly's just going to retain just because you know they were going to retain. You were watching people actually fight for those titles. Right? Like that shit was dope. Okay? But like I said, Braun Breaker just wasn't a fun champion. He just wasn't somebody to watch. Like I was rooting for Ilya Dragunov. You know what I'm saying? I was rooting for them. I wanted somebody else to win. You know what I'm saying? Because they just they just give you better quality. They just give you something. Braun Breaker isn't bad. He isn't bad, but he needs to give us something else other than strong meathead. Like I'm not being mean. I'm just saying like Kurt Angle had to learn that shit too. Like you couldn't always rely on being the Olympic gold medalist. You had to have something. He ended up having a personality. He was funny. Even when he was a heel, he was funny. He was stupid. It was great to watch Kurt Angle. Same thing when it comes to Brock Lesnar. At some point, being an evil meathead doesn't work for you anymore. You've got to flip the script. That's where Cowboy Brock comes in. You feel what I'm saying? Like a whole new persona was developed, and Braun Breaker's got to do something because he's stagnant at this point. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if fucking Grayson Waller got that championship. But let me tell you something. I do not want to listen to Grayson Waller every single week on NXT running his mouth about that NXT championship. I will not be able to fucking take it. It'll be worse than watching Mandy with that championship. I can't fucking do it. I won't do it. Okay? So Braun Breaker's got to do something. He's got to do fucking something. Underrated, Lash Legend. So Don is 100% right. And here's the thing. Lash Legend has been putting over every single superstar that has been pushed up in the WWE. So Ruka has gone up against Lash. You had Tiffany Stratton wrestling Lash. She put over Nikita Lyons. She put over Zoe at one point. They had a match. Like Lash has been the female workhorse for NXT for just about everybody, from Wendy to her taking an L from Shotzi Blackheart. Like it's been a lot for Lash, and I think this year coming should be Lash's year to push her way up to the top. If she goes up against Roxanne for the championship, I wouldn't be mad about that. But at this point, I'd be okay with her and Jakara being a tag team and getting those tag team titles. They'd be the first black tag team, female tag team champions, and I'm here for it. Do it. Do something because I can't. I can't with them. They got to do something better than just using Lash as a heel and helping her, using her to help push other people, but they don't want to help her get over. Like that shit is not cool. Everybody but Vaughn, listen. I'm not a Von Wagner fan. I never have been. But like I said, I could give respect where respect is due. Von Wagner did fairly decent in that ladder match. He was okay. He wasn't bad. He was okay. I was glad when they got rid of him, though, and put him out on the sidelines. I was happy about that. But, and he got his title match against Braun Breaker. He lost. Good for Braun Wagner. For the most part, he had a decent match, but he helped put Odyssey over, which I appreciate. You know, I can appreciate that. Other than that, Braun Wagner is nowhere near anything on my list. We should have got a fake winner takes all, and that's how I would have brought in JD. He needs a character because at this point he doesn't have a voice. I mean, they just bark at this point. They just bark at him at this point, and I'm just like, okay, okay, okay. If Grayson got that championship, I fall out and be mad at the same time. I have a sneaking suspicion that he will, and I hate it. Pretty Deadly had a great one. They have an amazing run. They had an amazing run as tag team. I don't know who the New Day are going to drop those titles to, but they might end up dropping them to Indu Sheer because after Indu Sheer wrestles the Creed brothers, they're going to beat them. They're going to beat the Creed brothers, okay? And if I were NXT, I'd bring up the Creed brothers after that because I feel like they don't need to be down there. If in real talk, unless they're going to give those titles to Ivy and Tatum, I bring them up too. There's no time like the present to push them forward and let them have, opportunities to flourish on the main roster. Honestly, I would do the draft after WrestleMania, which I believe is what's rumored to happen. The draft is set to happen after Mania. And then I would have them bring up the entire Diamond Mine as a group and let Roderick Strong come up as well. I think that SmackDown is pretty faction heavy. So I would put Diamond Mine on Raw and I would let them run on Raw for a while. The tag team division for the women crosses over to both sides, as does the men. So they won't be set in stone. They will be Raw guys, but they'll pop up on SmackDown every now and then. But me personally, I would let Indu Sheer go over on the Creed brothers and bring them up. And then I would have Ivy and Tatum come up with them as well as a complete group. Roderick's coming back. He's 100% healthy. He'd come up with them. He's not the greatest on the microphone, Roderick Strong, but solid. But he's like 100% solid as a competitor. There's few people who could fuck with Roderick Strong in the main ring. And I don't discredit his ring work, but his promos are just so cringy sometimes. I just
the shit in the hospital was terrible.
I need you to win. I need you to win. So Donnie says, have Grayson win, call up Braun, and let him be Bray's target to change him. I honestly don't have a problem with that, but I'm trying to figure out what Bray's next move is going to be with this whole Uncle Howdy situation. It seems like Uncle Howdy is more than just a separate entity. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but I'm really interested in it. A lot of people don't like the storyline between LA Knight and Uncle Howdy. They felt like LA Knight shouldn't have been his first target. I disagree. I like the fact that LA Knight was his first target. I don't know who else they would have chosen to be his first target. I mean, they definitely could have picked somebody else, but LA Knight is more of a mid-carder at this point. He's not at the top of the mountain yet. So having him and LA Knight battle it out is an elevation for LA Knight more specifically. And LA Knight's going to have to, and he can play off the cuff of anybody. So it works, People just want what they want and they're being bitches about it. Well, that may be too much work for him. What do you want, say? Why do you have your switch if you're coming to get the pillows?
You want to put it down?
Grab the pillow.
You want more too. Oh, dang.
You're welcome. I don't think that'll be too much, Donnie. I don't think that'll be too much. I think that's okay for him to have an interaction with Bray Wyatt. I think I would wait. I think I would give him an interaction with somebody else first, and then have Bray Wyatt intervene, and then start it. You know what I'm saying? And then slowly start to, break him down. Brian better start cheating. Grayson cannot win. When they had Lash and Nikita go at it, they could have let Lash go over. Nikita was getting W's left and right out the ass. She would have been okay with the L. Lash should have went over with that one. I have to agree. I feel like Nikita Lyon, while she got opportunities, Lash could have very well gotten the same. And I think Lash is a better wrestler than Nikita at this point. Nikita's all right. But I think Grayson is getting that title. Him and Braun have a rematch on a Tuesday. Braun loses. And then we see Braun in the Rumble after the Rumble or whatever show they put him on. He's going to be in the Rumble. Like, he most definitely is going to be in the Rumble. Like, he might wrestle at Vengeance for NXT because that would be a good Vengeance thing for them. So he probably would wrestle at Vengeance to try to get the title back, and then he would probably lose. But yeah, I see Grayson Waller getting a championship, and I absolutely hate it. If he doesn't get it now, they probably will run it back either at New Year's Evil or at Vengeance. One of the two. That's a good transition. You think so? The Fickles don't like it because it's too slow. I know. I do see Grayson winning and Carmelo taking it off of Grayson. I honestly think Triple H is itching for Carmelo to come to the main roster. I think that Carmelo being on SmackDown is a good feud to rehash with Ricochet. Ricochet and Carmelo have amazing chemistry with each other. And I think once they pull those titles apart and make Gunther be more of a viable target for that main championship, this will then free up that mid-card division to make it a little bit more how you put it, to make it a little bit more competitive on SmackDown like it is on Raw. The reason why it's like that on Raw is because there's no big title. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't give Carmelo the NXT championship. I'd move him out of NXT. I feel like he can thrive on the main roster, and he needs to go. He's been at NXT long enough. I think that the main thing for you is like the lowest amount you should be in NXT is a year and a half. The max I'd give you is 2 years. He's working on his second year right now because June was his anniversary. And then Carmelo's moving into a year, and then June of next year will be his second year. I would move Carmelo out of NXT immediately, and I would start bringing in some of those next in line guys that are ready. Like, there's no reason to keep him down there. While, yes, he's amazing, he could still be amazing on the main roster. Like, everybody doesn't have to be NXT champion. Plus, later on down the line, if that title is something you feel like you need to have to round out your career, you can always go back and get it. Look at Mandy. All right. Look at Look at Dolph. Dolph wasn't even an NXT guy. He went back there and got the NXT championship. The New Day are now Triple Crown Tag Team Champions. They went and got the NXT championship. Xavier went back and got a title. He never was able to acquire a title in NXT. So he went back and got one. Like, and what they could have done, they could have did this while Xavier was king of the ring, to be honest. Xavier could have went down there and been NXT champion during Braun Breaker's second reign. They could have let him get the title off of him then and been champion for a couple days and then dropped it back to Braun Breaker. Similar to what they did with Dolph Ziggler. Like, I feel like that would have just given Xavier the respect that he deserves. You know, Xavier has been one of the biggest stars keeping WWE in the know, especially when it comes to the nerddom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really, really, Xavier really has been able to save himself because of his love of video games and all things anime and just really being his unapologetic self. And WWE has been able to use that, and he pitched it to him like, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to have the superstars on there. We're playing video games. And they were like, sure. I don't think they thought it was going to do what it did. And it became a massive entity for WWE itself. He really helped usher in this new era of the E, being closer to fans and having a likeness to fans in terms of video games, anime, and everything in between. So, Karrion Cross is another one that I believe next year is going to have a banger of a year. He's either going to be your Intercontinental Champion or he's going to end up going after that big championship at some point. They had to bring Karrion down a bit because of what's going on with the titles and everything, and with Gunther being champion. But I would like to see how Karrion will operate against somebody like Gunther. Right now, they're putting him on Rey Mysterio, which he's going to go over on Rey. There's just no doubt about it. He's going to go over on him, as he should. Talking about having a year, Walla has had a year. He's mouth almighty for sure. Mello is money. Mello is how we should have got Shelton. I agree. Now, back in the day, Shelton Benjamin had his moments, In his heyday, Shelton Benjamin was one of the guys. But they didn't give Shelton Benjamin the longevity that they've given Carmelo Hayes. And I think that's where I think they made a mistake. I don't think they really thought about what Shelton could have represented during that time. Braun and Dolph was one of my favorite matchups during Braun's title reign. To me, yeah, babe. Yeah, babe. He's still on Rey Mysterio. Still on Rey Mysterio, babe. Rey had a match this past Friday, and Karrion was in the crowd. Now, what I think they're going to do is they're going to have a match between Karrion and slowly transition into Madcap and Emma, because, like I said, what happened was, really,
Dunks.
They got dunk cleats.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, babe, listen. I think they're going to slowly transition into Emma and Madcap, because Emma saw how they was taunting Rey Mysterio, and Emma smacked the dog shit out of Scarlett. And Scarlett was about to tear her ass up. But Karrion told her, you have no idea what you've just done. Now, that leads me to believe that Scarlett is getting ready to start wrestling and be in the ring. And if that's the case, I'm 100% okay with that. And I think that's a good place for them to start. Just have their little side feuds and make these feuds worth watching. Okay? Because at this point, you don't have titles that are grabbable at this moment, and you need to have something to go off of. Okay? You need to have something to go off of. We had fried turkey for Christmas this year. It was our first time eating it. That shit was fire. No, he didn't. Right. Sheldon had the kind of booking that Dolph has. The only difference is he was never given the opportunity at the big championship. Where Sheldon would have moments of greatness and then a year would go by and he wouldn't have shit. You know? I'm glad I'm not watching that. He was wearing pants that looked like something Big Show had worn in '98. Aaliyah stuck on these pants. I didn't notice his pants. I thought he was wearing regular old jeans like he always do. But if we wear bad pants, girl, okay. I had to drink me some punch, child. Anyways, sidebar, I've seen clips of the ladder match at MSG. Jealousy. Red Legos for all of them folk. I'm surprised that Tirza didn't go to MSG. She usually goes. But I remember her saying that she wasn't going to be able to make it. I don't remember. I thought she was going to go to this one. There's a house show coming here. It's supposed to be. Is it today? Let me see. I haven't been to a live event and I want to go to one. Yeah, it's supposed to be here Thursday at the Rocket Mortgage Field House.
Oh, the live event.
The holiday tour. Anyways, so I didn't go to the holiday show at MSG either. Sorry to hear that. So that's what I think that should happen when it comes to NXT. People I think should come up. I'm going to SmackDown Friday. Excuse me. I'm excited. I hope that it does not snow you out, babes. I'm going tomorrow. You going tomorrow? Have fun, Donnie. It was in Columbus. What was in Columbus? Oh, shit. Well, today it's my cousin's birthday too. Finally in the double digits. Oh, that's cute. I'm planning to go to Raw at the Barclays in February. Okay, the house show, I think, is what he means. Oh, happy birthday to your cousin. But most of the talent are having travel issues because of the weather. I don't know which house show you're referring to, so the holiday tour? No. No, there's a holiday tour. If they're in Columbus right now, I don't I don't have anything to do with that. I was talking about the one that's going to be here on December 29th. It's in Cleveland. It's not in Columbus. I wasn't talking about the Columbus show. I'm aware of that. That I know of. I was talking about the holiday tour coming to Cleveland on the 29th. I don't know anything about the Columbus show. I was looking up the Cleveland show because I'm not in Columbus. I'm in Cleveland. So I wouldn't look up the show for Columbus. I knew for a fact that they were coming to Cleveland. I did not know what day. And I thought they were coming today on the 27th, but they're actually supposed to be here on the 29th. Now, if they're having travel issues, I can understand that. New York, certain parts of New York is buried under snow at this point. Uh the weather, it's 22 degrees here in Cleveland. It's supposed to go up to 30 Tuesday, 40. It's supposed to rain and be 51 degrees on next Tuesday. Niggas finna be sick.
All the snow we're gonna have gonna melt.
All that snow finna melt. All that ice finna melt.
You just gotta pray and hope that when it rains and it stay in the 50s, it stay that high. The temperature drop.
It's gonna freeze into ice.
Yep.
Anyways, it's 30 degrees in New York, and it's gonna be even warmer tomorrow. So they're actually they actually shouldn't be having that much travel issues, because right now the weather is changed, so they should definitely be able to travel wherever they're trying to go. There ain't no wind blowing, there ain't no snow blowing, it's just cold. At least that's what we're being led to believe.
Hi, chat.
It's 22 degrees outside here in Cleveland. And it's 30 degrees in New York. So it's snowing here, but it's supposed to be reaching back to 60. Yeah, the temp's supposed to go back up. Like, this was the cusp of the storm. But who knows? It may snow again. Hopefully, y'all can pray about it. You know, do your winter solstice stuff like Isle of Dawn if that's what you want to do. Instead of her worrying about Albert Fire, she should have been trying to figure out how to keep this weather from coming, baby. People pipes is bursting and shit. So disrespectful. So selfish. Well, it is 30 below outside, so it is what it is, y'all. We don't have to go. But hopefully everything will work out in the end. All right, everybody's going, they're going to go to their shows. Hopefully the weather will warm up a little bit more and we won't have so much damage done to people because it's cold. It was cold this weekend. Christmas was definitely a white Christmas, okay? We didn't ask for that shit. But it was definitely an icy white Christmas, honey. We got a milk, babe. We gotta go to the store and get some milk. You got a gallon in there?
They'll pull the one out the freezer.
You put it, did it thaw?
Mm-hmm, it's in the refrigerator.
All right, cool. We still gotta get some more, babe, because we're low on milk. Like, we had 3, there was 4 gallons in here. You know that.
Well, we had to cook.
Nigga, 4 gallons?
We had to cook. Shit.
4 gallons of milk, though? Like, for real? Don't look at me like that. Now, this is a season where Isla can spend less money on sunscreen. No, because fuck her. What would you do with Isla Dawn? How would you book her going forward? Isla Dawn is an entity type of character similar to Bray Wyatt, The Undertaker, Kane before he became a douche. You know, Gangrel, the whole dark and brooding style. Similar to the way Valhalla is with the Viking Raiders, she is someone who cannot be tamed or controlled. So you use her to either put other people over or to have great feuds with. Right now, Isla being champion is out of the question for me. So she would have feuds with other people. I think her having a feud with Alba Fire elevates her more than it elevates Alba, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I would move her into having a feud with somebody else. I would want her to feud with somebody who needs to be built. I think her feuding with Roxanne at some point is smart, but Roxanne should go over. Isla needs to be the entity, but she also needs to be pursued by somebody else. So maybe Isla goes after I know it's gonna sound weird, but maybe Isla goes after Wendy Chu. She breaks Wendy Chu down. Wendy Chu disappears for a little bit. And when she comes back, she's got a new persona that's a little bit more digestible for the WWE universe. I like Wendy's character as is. I think it's campy and it's funny. But her being NXT champion at some point wouldn't work for the masses. And I think her being on the main roster, dressed in the gear that she wears and everything that she does, wouldn't work out for the masses either because people just wouldn't get it. I get it though. The girl just legitimately, she like her sleep. I'm like, girl, I can fuck with all of that because it ain't nothing like a good sleep, honey. Nothing. Okay. But I think if we're gonna do like book her and make her be something that could be plausible threat to somebody, she has to look the part and walk the part and talk the part. So I would repackage Wendy after their feud. I would have Wendy come back and cost Isla the championship, reignite their feud, and have Wendy go over on Isla and let Isla continue to work. Um, and let Isla continue to work as the entity she is. She would move off of Wendy and move on to somebody else, and then they can decide how that would work. She would move through the ranks. But that's how I would book it because, of, like I said, it'd be sweet revenge, number one, because she cost Alba her championship, but also because the catalyst of her dealing with somebody like Wendy and flipping a switch in Wendy so that she can change into something that's a little bit more workable. Like you would have a situation where it would it would really elevate Wendy, but it also would still make Isla look like a dangerous entity. No matter who she comes into contact with, they will forever be changed. Very similar to the way Bray Wyatt operates, is how I would book her. Bray didn't win all of his feuds, but there were aspects of that feud that made him still be a top a top superstar to fear. Excuse me. So Isla needs to be booked that way. She needs to be given the power to be able to move how she wants, but she's not going to always win everything. However, no matter who goes up against her, they will forever be changed. You get what I'm saying? Hope that works. I was supposed to go to North Carolina, but I didn't feel like it. My grandma said it ain't even snowing there. Well, okay, that's interesting. I get it, but it's like she could be like Sleeping Beauty and Shrek. Now, I don't know how to turn that character into something that is workable on the main roster. I think it can be done, but the onesies are gonna have to go. She's gonna have to get some actual gear, um, which I know they put covers and stuff. But the onesies gotta go. I love her hair. I don't care what anybody says. Her hair is cute. Um, he said he said kids today ain't even that childish. Like I feel like I don't think she is. I think that she's just generally sweet, and I think that's what she's trying to portray. And then they're bringing in the bullying aspect. which I don't have a problem with, but they never really do that correctly. It always comes out really weird. And I wish they would just do it the way it's supposed to be done. Like Cora got an old ass grandma name. Cora is a typical mean girl type of bitch. But I generally don't like the aspect of now Cora. I can understand if Cora used the cup and hit the girl in the head, because we had this conversation last week and Don made a lot of sense. He was like, she can't be mad at somebody throwing a drink in her face when she's done it multiple times to other superstars. And even though Wendy has acknowledged it, he is right. But my thing is, the problem is WWE is like, they don't understand how bullying works. And I don't get it. I'm like, I don't understand how you don't understand that. Like 90% of your roster was bullied in school for liking your product, because we've all been there, right? Especially those of us in the black community. Okay? I still get weird looks to this day because I still watch wrestling. And they're like, "You still watch that?" I'm like, "Why am I not allowed to watch that?" I was like, "Cuz it's not real." And it's like,
neither is your father, but look where we at.
Gerard,
Huh?
you can't say shit like that. That's cruel. Why are you like this?
Keep your mouth closed.
Babe. Like, we still get shit for watching wrestling, so it's not hard for you to understand how bullying works. If you're gonna do a bullying storyline, then you need to do it properly. Like, let us put it this way: Carly Rae is there, right? Carly Rae has its own. She has this little sweet, campy type of personality. She wears a bow in her hair, sweet girl, right? So you have somebody like Bliss who has a natural bullying type of persona, right? Use her. Emma, if Emma turned heel, add Emma to the fray. They can be bullies. Like Naya was a bully. You know what I'm saying? She was the type of character that was a bully. You bullying them, like you just come up to them and you laugh at them, or you do typical bullying shit where, like, you invite them to a party and then they show up and tell them it's a costume party, but it's not. Typical mean girl shit, like mean girl 101 type shit. Like, oh my God, I love your hair. I think you didn't use a haircut though. And then just cut off one of her ponytails. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of shit. But like, it be them palm color people who do shit like that. Bullying in the black community is different. Lash Legend would be considered a bully. She's like bitch that don't know how to be quiet. She talk a lot, and it's like, girl, please spare us. Lash talk a lot. She talk real fast, and it's always hands in your face, head moving. Girl, I'm a pass the phone. It's like, girl, relax, damn lax, ma'am. It's not hard to do a bullying storyline, but at some point, the person who's getting bullied has to come out on top. You can't let the bully win, because then you're proving that no matter what you do, the bully's always going to be out on top, right? You can't do that. You have to let the person who's being bullied succeed. Case in point, the storyline between Wendy and Tiffany started because Tiffany attacked Wendy. Wendy did not attack her, she attacked her. Okay, so it got blown out of proportion because of Tiffany, not because of Wendy. And Tiffany made it very clear as to why she didn't like, Wendy. She thought she was stupid and her and everything else, which that was a typical bullying storyline. You know what I'm saying? I just want to, if you're gonna do the bullying, let the bullying storyline be better than what you've been giving us. Because at this point, we just like, let's side, child. Let's side. How would you book Tiffany when she comes back? I book her fairly strong. It seems like Shawn Michaels has taken a strong liking to Tiffany. I don't like the character that she was in. The little daddy's girl stick, I don't like. She can be a fashion girl. She could be somebody who cares about money. She could be just like how Maurice was, just a better wrestler. So I don't have any issues with that. If that's what she wants to do, then cool. But I don't like the daddy's girl and like my daddy's gonna buy me everything I need, and you guys are just gonna have to deal with it because I'm the best. Like, no. No, bitch. I don't want to hear that either. So she could be booked similar to the way Maurice was booked when she was there. What do you think WWE should do with the Usos? Strip them of the titles at some point. At some point, the Usos got to drop the titles and they need to fall back. I would say Roman and Usos should be, if they lose the titles at Mania, they should get one more chance to get them back, not get them back, and they need to go on vacation. 3 months minimum. Vacation. You understand? Bloodline needs to be broken up. 3 months vacation. Okay? Where I don't see you. But I just don't like it. I know, Don. I know, babes. How would you break up Damage Control? EO would leave first. I would make EO leave first. And then I would have Dakota stick around. Bailey would have another bout with Becky. Becky would win, and then Bailey would blame Dakota, and then Dakota and her would fight, and Dakota would go over on Bailey, and that's how it would move. And then EO would be her own wrestling like thing. You could have, and once Asuka's ready to come back, because they say she's taking a break, which that's cool. Ain't nothing. Asuka not doing that. She been tangled up with Damage Control since after SummerSlam. Her, Bianca, and Bliss have all been tangled and warped into SummerSlam since warped into Damage Control since after SummerSlam. That's where they've been. So if it were me, I'd have Asuka come back as Kana and have her and EO fighting it out. If you wanted to put them together as a tag team, you could, but I think EO deserves to have a year on the roster by herself. I would actually move Io Shirai over to SmackDown instead of leaving her on Raw. I will also move Asuka to SmackDown. I think Asuka needs to go over there. She'd have a better fight. And Ronda, if Ronda's gonna stay champion, which I'm gonna be honest, I hope not. Not because I don't think she's not going to be able to do it, but again, just like Becky, just like Roman, there's no room to expand when it comes to Ronda. Ronda is Ronda, and she's going to be booked this way all the time. And at this point, you're in a new era of the E. And while, yes, I love her, I can understand where I feel like the WWE has outgrown her. So unless she's going to switch and do it so that she fits into the regime, she can't be champion. Like, I can understand her going after the tag team titles and giving the tag team titles some relevancy, her and Shayna being tag team champions. But I feel like the better fight is to have her and Shayna battling it out for the next couple of months. Shayna Baszler goes over and becomes champion. Ronda Rousey is phased out for now. But I would put EO on SmackDown. I would also put Asuka over there, like I said. Yep, to this day, yeah, we still get shit for watching wrestling. We still get teased for it. Still get treated like second class citizens. Like, that shit is ridiculous. Love Lash, but she gives hot Cheetos at 8:30 in the morning kind of girl. Darn ain't shit, yo. Yeah. She needs to be Paris Hilton. Like, I mean, that I can take. The Eris type of girl, but just stop mentioning your daddy every time you turn around, please. Like, it's very unnerving. I don't like it. I'm just like, ugh, please. Other than that, I'm curious to see where Uncle Trip takes it. Like, he's been fairly solid. There are going to be some days where Raw doesn't necessarily hit. There are going to be some days where SmackDown doesn't necessarily hit. And there are going to be some days where NXT doesn't hit. But overall, since SummerSlam, WWE has been relatively consistent. I truly enjoyed it, but this year is going to be Uncle Trip's ultimate test. This is his ultimate test as to what he can do with a full roster once everything gets switched up. We have everything set in stone. This is going to be his full culmination of being at the helm of the E, and we will see where he can take the company and what he can do. Um, with Cody coming back soon, you have Cody Rhodes that you're going to throw in there, and that's going to throw a monkey wrench in a lot of people's plans. I honestly would send Becky and Seth to SmackDown. I would send Charlotte to Raw, leave Cody on Raw. I would leave Roman on SmackDown long enough to have that fight, that true feud with Seth, and then I would send him to Raw. Um, I would I would send the Usos to Raw, let them stay on Raw for a year. The New Day would go to Raw. Well, they already on Raw, aren't they? Or they SmackDown? I don't know. I would send the Viking Raiders to Raw, let the New Day stay on SmackDown. I would send Hit Row to Raw, and I would pull up Los Lotharios so they can have more time on television, because it just seems like they forgot all about them. Los Lotharios is there, Hit Row is there, Legado del Fantasma, and you have the Viking Raiders, and you have New Day, and you have the Usos. They're all there, and then the Street Profits are on Raw as well. So you have Street Profits on Raw, you have Alpha Academy on Raw. So all in all, there are 9 tag teams. Is there another tag team on Raw? No?
If it is, I can't remember.
So it's like 9 or 10 tag teams even between both shows. And I feel like you can make that division even better, like I said, by bringing up the Creed brothers. I think that would just round that shit out so well. And I would even bring up Pretty Deadly because I just like them. And if I brought up Gallus, like, I feel like Gallus would go to SmackDown if I brought up Gallus, and I just let them run roughshod. It'd be Gallus versus Imperium, which I think that shit would knock. Like, they say Eric Young's supposed to be coming back to the E too, and you might get a resurgence of Sanity coming back. It's so many things that they're going to be doing. It's going to be very faction heavy in 2023. I'm very curious as to what they're going to do. I think that I hope AJ Francis doesn't have a knee injury. He seemed to be nursing it during the match last Friday against the Usos. And I hope Naomi comes back in a big way too. I really do. I like Naomi. I think Naomi's going to do great if she does come back, especially if they give her an opportunity to do great. Like, especially if Bianca's still champ and they have her go up against Bianca, that shit will be epic. Epic. Let's do it. Anyways, that is all I got. I don't have no more. I can't talk about wrestling no more than y'all can. Tomorrow, NXT is going to be a normal show. So we're going to have matches on NXT, and we'll come back and talk about NXT. The match card for NXT is as follows. So, yeah, fuck ass Kiana going after Fallon for the bars, the battle for the bar. Now, the last time we talked, Fallon's family bar was in trouble. It was in financial trouble. Fuck ass Kiana paid the taxes on the bar, which put a lien on the bar. So they have 30 days to pay off the remaining balance that is owed to the IRS, or the bar will be given to Kiana. So Fallon made a deal. You wrestle me in this match, and I'll hand over the bar for the pennies on the dollar. What you pay for the bar is what you'll get the bar for. Kiana says, okay, but Fallon's like, if I win, you basically tuck your coattails and run. You don't get to have my bar, and you leave me alone. Kiana agreed. So this match is happening tomorrow. We also are going to get a 6-man tag team match between Schism and Idris Anafe, Malik Blade, and Odyssey Jones, with Ava Rain hovering in the background. I don't see Odyssey's group winning this match over Schism unless somebody comes in and interferes. I think this is a way to solidify Schism as men finally stepping into the limelight and coming up. This is going to be an interesting thing to watch. But of course, Ava Rain is going to be their liaison in the way of this group. So we'll have to wait and see how this is going to play out. And of course, we have Wendy going up against Cora Jade. I'm going to be honest, I don't give a shit about this match because I really don't care for Cora. But I mean, if it works out, it works out. I don't see. The last time they wrestled, Cora cheated to win. She threw that drink in Wendy's face. So I imagine Cora will probably lose this match. I mean, at this point, it just don't matter who wins. It just don't matter, babes. And then you have the match, which probably will be the main event. The North American Championship is going to be Wesley versus Tony D'Angelo. And this is all happening tomorrow. And of course, you got his lagoon in the background. This is all happening tomorrow on NXT. And I'm sure Braun Breaker is going to want some get back from Grayson Waller from him using that steel plate to draw Braun Breaker in to do that spear. And it ended up knocking Braun Breaker out. Grayson Waller was holding the title up. And I'm like, it's those little antics right there that really make me afraid for Braun Breaker, because I just know that his ass is going to do something stupid, lose his championship to a weasel of a character like with Grayson Waller. And I'm just like, this fucking sucks. It sucks. Now, this next Monday, you're going to have this meme was funny, so I had to keep it. You're going to have Bianca going up against Alexa Bliss after she done hit this girl in the back of the head with a vase. We only going to have to wait and see how Bianca is going to retaliate against Bliss. Hopefully they open up next Monday with that match, because that's going to be interesting. Also next Monday, you're going to have Austin Theory versus Seth freaking Rollins for the United States Championship and various other championship teams. Now, this coming Friday, we're having their pre-New Year celebration. This is the final show of the year. SmackDown is going to go out on a bang. It's going to be John Cena and Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is John Cena in this mix? I don't understand. I'm very confused by that. Are you asleep?
No.
I have to check. Sometimes AJ falls asleep and have to make sure he puts his mask on and gets decent sleep so he don't get no crook. Anyway, John Cena was added to this feud or the fray because of Kevin Owens. Now he knows that John Cena is a thorn in Roman Reigns' side, a thorn which he defeated some years back at SummerSlam. But every year, John Cena has one title, and he's had that title for one match every year, and he's had that match for 20 years straight. He hasn't missed a year. This year will be the last year that John Cena could actually wrestle and keep his streak going. So Kevin Owens invited John Cena to wrestle with him as his partner against Roman Reigns and his former best friend, Sami Zayn. Now, This could go multiple ways, but this match, this one match, is going to be the catalyst to show us where things are going to go going into the new year. This is going to tell you how things are going to play out for the bloodline. So I need you to pay attention to how this match ends, because if Sami Zayn pins Kevin Owens and wins this match, this could go one of two ways. Roman could be very happy, or he could feel disrespected that Sami Zayn took his spotlight from him. The other way that it can go is that Sami Zayn gets pinned in this match, more than likely by Kevin. He gets pinned and Kevin Owens gets a win. Technically, he beat the tribal chief and the honorary Uce, to which Sami would be blamed for the loss. So, if Roman is as egotistical as I think, either way, Sami Zayn wouldn't be able to outgrow it, because he tried to outwork and outdo the tribal chief if he's the one who gets the pin over John Cena, of course. And number two, if he lost and ate a pin via Kevin Owens, that would be 10 times worse. So Sammy's kind of in a catch-22. He's damned if he do and damned if he don't. And if I were WWE, I would utilize either of those storylines, because you have to remember, Roman is a narcissist. He wants to be praised and given all the accolades. If Sami is the one who gets the pin and he wins, that isn't going to look well on the tribal chief. It's going to look like other people have to fight his battles for him. And while, yes, in some instances that's true, he doesn't want to appear to be weak in any kind of way. So he will take that as a slight, right? Whereas on the other hand, it's a more clear-cut decision. On the other hand, Sami Zayn obviously was too weak to beat either of these guys, and therefore he is not strong enough to be in the bloodline, so he must be eradicated. That is the only way I can see this going, because if they keep going with this honorary Uce shit, at some point it has to end. It just has to. There's no other way for this to play out. Unless they do some weird shit, like do a number one contender for the Elimination Chamber, have Sami win the Elimination Chamber, and then Sami's going up against Roman at SummerSlam. I mean, at WrestleMania. Like, that's the only other scenario I can factor into my head. But this match right here is going to be the catalyst to deciding the end of the bloodline and really starting to ramp up WrestleMania season. It's going to be an interesting. With all that being said, I have got to go, ladies and gents. I've been on here for 2 hours. Okay? So here's what I need you to do. Number one, I need you to follow Down for the Count. Make sure you guys keep your notifications on for Down for the Count. Next year, we shall return, and you guys can listen to our podcast next year when we start out the new year and give you guys all of the tea that we missed during the time that we were on hiatus. Okay. Hiram, you're late, honey. I'm gonna go. Also, my own personal podcast is up. I'm getting ready to upload the SBC chat from last week. I'm definitely getting ready to do the SBC chat from this week after I get that done. I'm gonna start doing some stuff with Don once I get their schedules together with Don and Rico for the KTT. And of course, I'm gonna have Don and Rico on the podcast for Down for the Count, so we can do Doubling Back with Don, because he is owed his final episode of Doubling Back, and then next year we'll spread it out and have it scheduled so he can do his episodes, and we'll have it better spread out and done correctly. All right, so don't forget the KTT with Tiffany E is up on Spotify and Anchor as well. Y'all can go over there and listen, and if y'all got topics for me that y'all want me to discuss, y'all got to give me them topics, okay? You can always send me a message through Anchor. If you want to give me a topic to talk about, you can give me a topic to talk about on my Instagram. All of that is scrolling on the scroll bar below. He said, oh, shit, I'm late. Yeah, babes. You're late, babes. If you want a topic that you want me to discuss, like I saw a couple people asking me to talk about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. The verdict came out with them, so I'm going to talk about that on the podcast, because it doesn't seem like this is the place to talk about it. And I'm going to do some other stuff on the podcast as well this week. I didn't do anything this last week because it was Christmas last week. I was cooking and a lot of stuff was going on, honey. So make sure you guys follow me over there on Spotify. Get the tea because we're going to do all that stuff. I'm going to try to keep stuff as lighthearted as possible. I'm going to keep a couple episodes. I might do like 3 episodes a week and do some some cute little stuff and see what stuff hit and what stuff doesn't. We shall see, ladies and gents. All right. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the year recap, what I think should happen, my thought process into Uncle Trip, what the next year is going to be like, and just I hope you guys enjoyed wrestling this year. It has been a true Tour de France, as they say. It has been a trip, okay? But I will say this, it was a nice distraction from life. Things are not always as fun at home, and just across the board, things are not always fun. But you can always count on the fact that wrestling is a good distraction from your regular everyday life. I can yell, kick, and scream about things on TV that make me happy to watch, make me angry to watch. You get to really experience a different set of emotions watching wrestling, and you feel better having watched it. At least I do. It's kind of like a therapeutic release, and I'm glad that it exists, and I'm happy that WWE is doing better and moving into better spaces because I wouldn't have known what to do if they didn't. So I'm happy about that. And I'm even happy for some of the wrestlers in AEW who are finally getting their shine. Ricky Starks is at the top of the mountain right now, really blowing up. And I think that he definitely deserves to blow up. He definitely has earned it. And I can't wait to see what they do with Ricky Starks. He's going to be the only thing I watch about AEW. I don't really watch Jade's matches like that, but I respect what Jade has been doing. It's going to be an interesting day for everybody. Next year is going to be a lot of people's year. So I hope that you guys enjoy wrestling and continue watching it. Even when it's its bad days, you sometimes just have to wait things out. And I promise you it will get better. With all that being said, thank y'all so much for following me. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Please share my content and give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It really helps my channel be recommended. That helps push it into the algorithm. And that also helps me be able to do what I do on a more regular, consistent basis. And I can make a little bit of coin and then production go up and then stuff get real ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Ciao. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will talk about NXT tomorrow. Like I said, we got a couple of matches happening on NXT, and then Friday, that's going to be D-Day. That'll determine the next direction of the bloodline and where we're going with the WWE. So I'm hella excited for that. With all that being said, I will see you guys next time. And don't forget to check out the KTT with Tiffany E, as well as the Down for the Count podcast, because Doubling Back with Don will be returning very, very soon. I will see you guys in our next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Thank y'all so much for coming and being part of my show. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on the channel. It really helps to get my content out there for everybody to see. And I feel like even though we're a wrestling channel, we talk about a little bit of everything over here when I go live. So make sure you guys follow me on my social media as well. All of my socials are the same at Psych Design TV 2. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook if you're a little and you like Facebook. But don't forget to follow me and subscribe, and make sure you rate my videos and get that algorithm up to push it up so I can start being a little bit more professional, so I can start making some coins. Okay? I will talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye.